What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com. This is the NBA Strategy Show, Wednesday, November 19th, and we've got a very different slate depending on DraftKings and FanDuel. There's 9 games tonight, only 7 of which are on the DraftKings slate. 4 of them lock at 7 o'clock. The other 3 lock at 8 o'clock. You've got a 9:30 start and a 10 o'clock start then on the FanDuel side. So one late swap window is all we've got. 4 separate games locking at 7. Lots to talk about. You're going to want to make sure, got to move my hoodie around, that you're watching Deeper Diving Live before lock later tonight. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter. Let's do this. We're starting it off. Houston at Cleveland. Close game. Oh, let's add that caveat too. The first 4 games are all relatively close, like single point low lines, 1.5, 2.5, that area. The 3 8 o'clock games, 16.5, 14.5, 18.5. Fun. So for Cleveland and Houston already without Tari Eason. They've got a Q tag on Jabari Smith. That could create a little bit of value. On the Cleveland end, we know that we don't have Darius Garland. We do have a Q tag on Sam Merrill. As of right now, not a ton of ownership coming into this game. I do like Evan Mobley the best. He's the only guy getting anything north of 10% ownership, and he's barely under 20. After that, it's Okogie, Hunter, Jabari, Reed Shepherd, Donovan Mitchell, all around 10%. The name that stands out most to me is Reed Shepherd. We're already without Tari Eason. We may be without Jabari Smith. Shepherd's been playing better and been playing more as of late. If we get Smith out, maybe people don't react fast enough, but I think Shepherd will stand out. And then Donovan Mitchell's just been going crazy lately. No reason he can't do it today, and there's not as much opportunity cost locking in a 7 o'clock guy. For the most part, everything that I said about the DraftKings side is the same on FanDuel, except it's less interesting. Amin Thompson is the only guy north of 10% ownership. Mobley is down to 8. So it's just really, really flat here. But if Merrill ends up out and Jabari Smith end up out, we might be able to create a little bit more value in this matchup. But these are 2 teams that lean a little bit more defense than offense. I guess I shouldn't even say that. They're both really great offensively, but you assume they're better defensively. Similar story for this one, Charlotte and Indy 1.5 point line. This is just like the awful version of the previous game. Not a lot of ownership coming in. Not too much interesting going on for Charlotte. Brandon Miller is working his way back, but he's not available for this one. On the Pacers side, we still have no Aaron Nesmith and some of their other injuries. Benedict Mathurin is back. About 15% ownership to Isaiah Jackson and Colin Sexton, and then about 10 for everybody else. I think Andrew Nembhard stands out at least a little bit at 6,600. Given the pay-ups today, a $9,300 Pascal Siakam at no ownership isn't crazy to me, but as more people come back, he looks worse. LaMelo seems to be limited. He's played 27 and 28 minutes in his last 2. If he's not going to be able to play 34 or 35 minutes, that's not a name you're looking for. I'm not seeing much here. A Colin Sexton off the bench and Isaiah Jackson, who could fall into more minutes for sure, 4,200. There's definitely the biggest ceiling in Isaiah Jackson. I just don't know how frequently it happens. Mostly the same thing on FanDuel. Con Knipple actually 22% owned, 6,100. He gets shooting guard, small forward eligibility. Just looks a lot better. And we've got him with some positive leverage here. Just playing big minutes all the time for Charlotte. Looks like a great pick for them. It should be a part of their rotation for many years to come. After that, it's flat. A little bit more to Jarris Walker right now, not surprising, back into the starting lineup. Now that Mathurin is back and Nesmith is out, they've moved Walker back into the starting lineup with Isaiah Jackson instead of Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Tony Bradley. Speaking of Jeremiah Robinson Earl, not that anybody's going to care about this at all, but this is likely his last game with the Pacers. He's on a 10-day hardship contract. It expires tomorrow. Don't think they can bring him back after that. Okay, this one's a totally we don't know what's happening here game, so I'm just going to give you the details. Golden State is on a back-to-back. We know we're not going to see Al Horford. It seems like we're not going to see at least one, if not both, of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. And then who knows about Draymond at that point. They're already without Kuminga. I have no idea who's going to play for Golden State, but if I'm right and some of those guys sit, we're going to end up with a ton of value. Similarly, on the Miami side, Bam Adebayo is questionable. I think he's missed the last 8. If Bam is back, Miami looks awful because everybody's priced up because he's been gone. If he's not back, then there's probably going to be some decent pieces from Miami, just nothing crazy. But until we get all of this news, we don't have an injury report for Golden State yet. That won't come out until 1:30. Once we get that, we'll have a better idea of what we have here. Because if all of those guys are in, this game looks awful. If they're not, the Warriors should create a bunch of value. We just don't know who it'll be just yet. Now, this is where we're getting some love. Final 7 o'clock game, Toronto at Philly, another coin flip matchup. $6,200 Andre Drummond is 40% owned. Joel Embiid doubtful. Paul George already out. Kelly Oubre out. Adam Bona out. Drummond's just been playing like 33 plus minutes since he started getting these starts. I think 40% ownership makes perfect sense. He's going to be out there a ton. The only thing that stops this is injury or foul trouble because they don't really have any other options. So Drummond is quite popular, and I think he deserves it. Maxey is quite popular. 10K, 30% owned. The pay-up structure for today is crazy. You've got Nikola Jokic at 13K, and then everything else is just sort of in the normal range. And Maxey, I like this spot. Totally fine for me against Toronto. Not a team that I'm super worried about. And he gets carte blanche to do whatever he wants. There's just not enough bodies here that are going to tell him any different. I like that 10K price tag. I'm going to have a lot of Drummond and Maxey. I think Edgecombe is very reasonable at 6K, given the fact that he's playing 36 minutes a night. I think Quentin Grimes starts today, and I think we see Drummond, Maxey, Edgecombe, Grimes, insert random power forward here. Grimes at 15% owned, fine, but a little bit more limiting if he's going to play more minutes alongside Maxey. And then if you guys want to play anybody in the Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, Pirtle, Quickly group, knock yourself out. If you've got a feel that it's one of those guys, that's more than I've got. Pretty similar story on FanDuel. Maxey quite popular. VJ Edgecombe quite popular. Drummond less popular, but remember, one center spot on FanDuel. The ownership numbers on centers will never look comparable. Drummond is 20% owned on FanDuel. That is massive ownership on a site with 2 extra games and only one center spot. After that, it's a little bit of Grimes from Philly and all of the like Thunderdome Raptors that you want to get to. Whoever enters between Barnes, Barrett, Ingram, Quickly, one man will leave as a decent play. I don't know who it is ever. Now we get to the aggressive blowout portion of the show, and this one is also quite subject to change. Wizards are 16.5-point dogs against Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels is questionable. Alex Sarr is questionable. And Sarr's 20% owned. If Sarr ends up out, then we're going to be getting to a ton of Tristan Vukcevic and or Marvin Bagley. That's just going to happen. I prefer thinking that it's Bagley the whole time. Bagley's 3,100, Vukcevic is 3K. Just pretend that it's Bagley no matter what. And then if you have to make any swaps, if Vukcevic starts or something, it's easy to swap from Bagley down to Vukcevic. But if you don't have that extra 100, you'd get blocked out. So think about it like that. That's what's happening on the Washington side. If Sarr is in, he's probably the only guy you want. If he's out, you definitely want a bunch of these guys because there's going to be a ton of value. On the Minnesota side, they don't play tomorrow. They play on Friday. They should sit McDaniels. I don't know if they will. I don't know how injured he really is, but we're getting 35% ownership already to Randall, 28 to Reed, 20 to DiVincenzo and McDaniels, and 15 to Sarr. We'll create a little bit more value if McDaniels ends up out. But all of these Minnesota guys just look good by default because they get to play the Wizards. Everybody looks better here. They can't all be awesome, but I'm not shocked to see Randall be the priority. Reed's been playing a little bit better and a little bit more as of late. He's the guy I have my eye on the most. Very different experience on the FanDuel side, though. Minimal ownership, 13% to Ant is the most. So if Sarr ends up out, Marvin Bagley's a $3,900 center. He will look good. Tristan Vukcevic is a $3,500 flat min center. He will look good. That will get us a little bit more love here. But the Jaden McDaniels news does not matter nearly as much on FanDuel. This game is a very different thing depending on which site you play on today. Denver and New Orleans also expected to be an absolute beating, 14.5-point line in this one. Denver, as we know, without Christian Brown, He's going to be out for another month or whatever it is at this point. Julian Strother also out for this one. For the Pelicans, it gets really weird. I got nothing to add here. Zion's questionable. Sadiq Bey is questionable. Jordan Poole and Carlo Makovic are both out for this one. So this gets a little dicey. Jokic is 13K and 8% owned. I will never tell anyone not to play Nikola Jokic, but that's a tough price tag. Peyton Watson is getting more minutes, getting a start. 4,600 works as a value play. Won't look this good if we free up the value we've been talking about. I'm terrified to go to Derek Queen. That guy fouls a lot, and this is the hardest matchup he's going to find. $5,200 center for Queen. The value's there. The minutes are there. I wouldn't be surprised if they start Kevon Looney and play him like 6 minutes at the beginning of the first and third quarter just to keep Queen away from Jokic a little bit more. I don't like this game otherwise, and you can see it. There's no ownership coming in on the DraftKings side to anything here, and I'm not surprised. If I'm getting anything, I want Peyton Watson, and if I get Jokic, cool. No real difference on the FanDuel side, same messaging. It's Peyton Watson for a little bit of value. It's a scary Derek Queen and a 12% owned Jokic. 12,800 on FanDuel. Only one center, but if you're going to get one, I don't think he's the worst idea. Final game on the DraftKings slate, scariest of the bunch, Oklahoma City and Sacramento. The Thunder are 18.5-point favorites at home. Domantas Sabonis is out for this one, and we're already not even getting any real love for Drew Eubanks at 4,200, just 5% owned. Like Isaiah Joe for value, that'll go away by the end of the day, at least a little bit. SGA is playing like 30 minutes a night because they're just beating the brakes off of everyone. And we have no reason to suspect they won't do that again here. So I don't expect to get a lot of this. They just haven't had to step on the gas. This Kings team is terrible. They're missing their best player. I don't know how this helps them. But Keegan Murray, not back yet. Sub 10% ownership everywhere. I don't really want anything here. I don't find it very appealing. I'd love to get to Shea. I don't know what the point would be. He'd have to go absolutely insane in 30 minutes because the Thunder should just destroy the Kings. There's a little bit more love coming into this game on the FanDuel side. Eubanks just $100 above the minimum. That opens him up a bit more. But remember, Washington could look the same way by the time we get to lock. Westbrook a little bit more popular, 20% owned, 7K. Should start, play 32 minutes or something. I get it. After that, it's the same conversation we just had on the DK side. This game's gross. 18.5-point line. Biggest underdog on the slate. Final two games are FanDuel only. Knicks and Mavs. The Knicks are 5.5-point favorites in Dallas. Minimal ownership here, and the big question is, Jalen Brunson, questionable. Do we know he's going to play? No idea. But he typically plays when he can. He's 10% owned, looks totally fine at 8,200. There's no ownership coming into the rest of these guys. If you want to take shots on PJ Washington or Brandon Williams or Towns, if Brunson is out, that all looks fine to me. But this is not a game that is chock full of priorities. The final game is completely impossible to talk about right now. Chicago Bulls, Portland Trail Blazers. We don't know the status of Trey Jones yet. We don't know if Kobe White is going to start or not. We got to keep our eye there. Portland is on a back-to-back. They didn't have Drew Holiday yesterday. Out of nowhere, they didn't have Jeremy Grant. If Grant's playing and Drew is still out, Grant's one of the most popular guys on FanDuel. Shaedon Sharpe looks good. Denny Avdia looks good. I think there's a case that Josh Giddey still looks okay, but if White is back and starting, that's less appealing. So we need all of this news, but in particular for Portland, we need to know if Drew is going to play, and we need to know if Jeremy Grant's going to play. Because if Drew is out again and Grant is back, he's one of the best things you'll find. That's what we've got going on for today. 9 games, 7 on DraftKings, 9 on FanDuel, and I think I set the table pretty well. So hit that like button and help us out here. Sign up at Stokastic with the link in the description.